your presence as we celebrate the 68th annual Norfolk NATO Festival flag raising ceremony. Under the direction of Lieutenant Junior Grade Joel Feast and Drum Major Musician First Class Kevin Creasy, the United States Fleet Forces Band will march on the color guard from Assault Craft Unit 4 and the flag bearers of all 30 member nations. Flag bearers. Attend hut. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Flag bearers, left face. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, known as NATO, is an international political and military organization created 72 years ago with the aim of guaranteeing the freedom and security of its 30 member nations. Headquartered in Brussels, NATO has two strategic level commands, one of which is our very own Allied Command Transformation here in Norfolk. Every year, our command selects the most outstanding staff members to be recognized as our members of the year. In March, General Lanata honored the following people for their exceptional performance and outstanding support to NATO throughout 2020. Mr. John Craig, a civilian from the United Kingdom. Chief Warrant Officer 3, Alejandra Ortiz, United States Army. Petty Officer, 2nd Class, Natalie Ramsey, United States Navy. And Master Sergeant Mark Schalak, German Army. Please join us with a round of applause to recognize their invaluable contributions. At this time, we are pleased to welcome our special guest, Mr. Jeff Mazie, Chairman of the Norfolk NATO Festival. Vice Admiral Andrew Lewis, United States Navy, Joint Force Command, Norfolk. General Paolo Ruggiero, Italian Army, Deputy Supreme Allied Commander, Transformation. The Honorable Kenneth Alexander, Mayor of the City of Norfolk. And General André Lanata, French Air Force, Supreme Allied Commander, Transformation. Flag bearers, parade, rest. Guests, please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning, Supreme Allied Commander Transformation, General André Lanata, and the Allied Command Transformation Staff celebrate this 68th annual Norfolk NATO Festival. We will now recognize the North Atlantic Treaty Organization and each one of the 30 member nations that form the alliance. Flag bearers, attend hut. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem of the United States of America and the NATO hymn. As a reminder, during the playing of musical honors and the national anthem, military members should stand at attention or render salute on the first note. It is encouraged that civilians place their right hand over their heart during the national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the United States of America. Ladies and gentlemen, the NATO hymn. Flag bearers, parade, rest. Ladies and gentlemen, you may now take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, shortly overhead, you will witness the United States Navy perform a flyover with two MH-53 helicopters, one from the Helicopter Mine Countermeasure Squadron 1-4, commanded by Commander Scott Hatch, and the other MH-53 helicopter from Helicopter Mine Countermeasures Squadron 1-5, commanded by Commander Eric Johnson. The helicopters will be overhead in less than 1 minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear from our distinguished guests. The Norfolk NATO Festival Chairman, Mr. Jeff Mazie.
General Inata, Mayor Alexander, Vice Admiral Lewis, Norfolk NATO Festival Committee members, Virginia Arts Festival staff members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor the Norfolk NATO Festival to welcome you to Scope Plaza for the annual flag raising ceremony and International Village in our 68th anniversary season. For nearly 70 years, the citizens of Norfolk and the region have come together to celebrate and honor NATO, which today includes 30 nations. This year's festival theme is Stronger Together. It is a reminder that we must remain vigilant in the face of ever-evolving global threats. NATO's Allied Command Transformation Headquarters here in Norfolk in recent years has been tasked with looking into the future to identify potential threats to the alliance. What once seemed futuristic today pose real-world challenges, ranging from the use of cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, hypersonic missiles, targeted energy attacks, and space-based weapons. Potential theaters of conflict now also include the Arctic Circle and the South China Sea. As you enjoy today's events, I hope that you will be mindful of the important work that the NATO ACT and Joint Force Command personnel here before you today in uniform do each day to safeguard our way of life in Europe, Canada, and the United States. Before I close, I would like to recognize Maurice Mealy, Executive Officer of Protocol at NATO's headquarters. For over a decade, she's been invaluable to helping Norfolk NATO Festival and our staff stay on the same page and speak the same language as the staff at NATO Command. Maurice also helped collaborate with Norfolk NATO Festival to highlight women in the military as our theme in 2008. So, Maurice, thank you and best wishes to your future. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure you're all on the same page with us and remember today's theme. So think of a rock concert. I'm going to say it and say it only once and get you to say it along with me. Are you ready? Yeah, okay. Stronger. Together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mazie. And next, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Kenneth Alexander, Mayor of the City of Norfolk.
General Inata, General Ruggiero, Vice Admiral Lewis, Jeff Mazie, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the City of Norfolk, welcome to the opening ceremony and return of the Norfolk NATO Festival. What an exciting day in Norfolk and for our NATO partners. I am joined today by our city manager, Dr. Chip Filer, and many members of Team Norfolk. Thank you, Dr. Filer and Team Norfolk. Since the establishment of NATO's presence in Norfolk in 1952, our residents, our citizens throughout the region have been willing and are able and still excited to do their part to aid the success of the alliance. We are by all means stronger together. There are no more ardent supporters of NATO than the residents of Norfolk. This wonderful celebration is the longest continuously running festival in Hampton Roads, and it is the only one of its kind in the United States that honors NATO alliance and its member nations. We cannot be more proud of that honor and distinction. Our corporation serves as the model for building and sustaining a robust city of the future. Despite significant security, cyber, and climate changes, General Lanata Allied Command Transformation continues to improve NATO's operational capability today while shaping the future to address tomorrow's opportunities and challenges. We will continue to seek collaborative ways to assist one another in our mission to serve others. So, on behalf of all of us in Norfolk, let me extend best wishes to everyone and thank those who helped make this year's NATO Festival a wonderful and memorial and memorable experience. Yes, we are stronger together.
Thank you, Mayor Alexander. Mayor Alexander will now present the Norfolk Mace to General Andre Lanata. The Norfolk Mace originally came to Norfolk in 1754 as the symbol of King George's royal power, as vested in Governor Robert Dinwiddie. This magnificent silver mace is the only one still both intact and in the city to which it was first presented. Having survived the War of Independence, where it was buried in a field, and the Civil War, where it was hidden in a fireplace, it is a potent symbol of the resilience and survival of Norfolk. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear from our presiding officer, Supreme Allied Commander, Transformation, General Andre Lanata.
Mr. Kenneth Cooper Alexander, Mayor of the City of Norfolk, dear Kenny. Mr. Jeff Macy, Chairman of the Norfolk NATO Festival, dear Jeff. Mr. Scott Jackson, Virginia Arts Festival General Manager, dear Scott. Vice Admiral Andrew Lewis, NATO Joint Force Command, dear Andrew. Admirals, Generals, Hampton Roads Area and ACT military leadership, civic and community leaders from the City of Norfolk, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and families. There is no better illustration than this Norfolk NATO Festival to highlight the links made between City of Norfolk and ACT. Norfolk NATO Festival makes ties between the City of Norfolk and NATO Allied Command Transformation so strong over many years, and from this year also with NATO Joint Force Command. That is why, Mayor Alexander, dear Kenneth, I would like to thank you and your team very sincerely to this enduring friendship. The fruitful cooperation and closeness of the city of Norfolk and ACT is both a symbol and an instrument of the transatlantic bond. This year, the festival is organized in a smaller format than we had until 2020 and the outbreak of COVID-19. I deeply regret that we had to cancel the Norfolk NATO Festival last year for the first time since its beginning in 1952. This pandemic forced us all to cope with the protection of our people and to adapt our way of work to new circumstances. I extend my deepest sympathies and condolences to those who lost their loved ones. This in-person gathering today is a good sign that we are progressing on the battlefield against the pandemics. I also feel there is no better opportunity to improve our ways of fighting COVID than to resume, as soon as we can, our traditional activities. Quite simply because we need to keep alive the links that unite us. It is the reason why I would like to thank the Norfolk NATO Festival Committee and civic leaders for their hard work in the preparation of this year's Norfolk NATO Festival despite the constraints imposed by COVID. This April, the Alliance celebrated its 72nd anniversary. This successful more than 7 decades are proof of NATO's relevance and its commitment to protect our freedom and peace. As it has been said before me, we face unprecedented challenges in our security environment. Challenges no one nation can face alone. COVID was one additional evidence of that. In such an increasingly unpredictable and volatile world, having friends and allies is essential. NATO Secretary General James Stoltenberg said in his address to the United States Congress in Washington, D.C. 2 years ago that in this challenging world, it's good to have friends. It is good for Europe and it is good for America. This is why we realize every day, despite obvious differences or sensitivities between allies, that the need to maintain and further adapt our alliance increases continuously. We need to address new kind of competition and destabilization, prevent any conflict and preserve the stability of our societies, and doing so, their prosperity, the prosperity of each one of us. Today, this colorful display of NATO member nation flags and uniforms in this military presentation representing all 30 NATO member nations is a symbol of our diversity, inclusiveness, and most important of all, our cohesion. We live this cohesion through our commitment and mutual respect, through our solidarity and our unity. It constitutes also the symbolic bridge across the Atlantic Ocean, joining North America and Europe in a common destiny and giving them a common purpose. Recognizing the flags of our 30 nations illustrates our commitment to defend together the values upon which the alliance is built: freedom, tolerance, democracy, and rule of law. In front of these flags today, I could not evoke the commitment of our military without having a thought for those who have sacrificed themselves in all theaters of operations. In the name of solidarity among our countries, in the name of our alliance. I would like to thank all the men and women from our nations who contributed to our peace, particularly those who shed their blood and risked their health and lives for our freedom, for your freedom, and the freedom and security of each one of our families, the only truth. This is our first Norfolk NATO festival with NATO Joint Force Command Norfolk in its operational status. Now there are 2 NATO commands in Norfolk, ACT and GFC, and hundreds more NATO families who call the Hampton Roads community their home in North America. I am happy to have Vice Admiral Lewis with us to represent GFC Norfolk, and I know that he feels for the support here in our local community for our NATO families and for NATO as an organization. It is important for our staff that their families, whose happiness is crucial to our military's morale, are successfully integrated in their new environment. It is paramount because our families are an indivisible part of our lives and therefore of our commitment. Our families embody ideals we cherish, strengths, loyalty, and commitment. They are standing beside those who stand behind their flags, giving their whole and making tremendous sacrifices. This is why we highly appreciate the friendships that NATO military and civilian families experience every day here in Norfolk. Thanks to all of you. I express my sincere gratitude to the Mayor of Norfolk and with him to all the local civilian and military authorities, organizations, and individuals from the area. Thank you again to the Norfolk NATO Festival team. And finally, I would like to thank everybody coming from in this year's festival's activities despite constraints imposed by COVID. I invite you all to enjoy this year's Norfolk NATO Festival's event. I rest assured that the next year, these events will be organized again in a full format. Have a nice day and evening and enjoy your festival.
Flag bearers, attend hut. Flag bearers, 5 steps forward, march. Flag bearers, right haste. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. The United States Fleet Forces Band will now honor the military service of all alliance nations by playing the U.S. military service songs, followed by the official pass-in review of all NATO member nations. Albania, Belgium, Bulgaria, Canada, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Montenegro, the Netherlands, the Republic of North Macedonia, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania, Slovakia, Slovenia, Spain, Turkey, the United Kingdom, United States of America, Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the departure of the official party. All national liaison representatives, please report to your parade floats. This concludes our flag raising ceremony. Thank you all for attending. For the next 15 minutes, the official party will conduct a private review of the parade floats on Charlotte Street. The parade floats will be open to the public shortly after 11:15. All guests are invited to join us now around the Norfolk Scope Arena at the International Village to enjoy the sights and sounds from all 30 member nations as we continue to celebrate this momentous occasion. Thank you.